Support for this podcast comes from listeners and St. Alphonsus Health System, a regional network of hospitals, clinics, and care providers. St. Alphonsus offers comprehensive healthcare services to individuals and families throughout the community. More information about services and locations is available at stalphonsus.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. This morning we hear from the Idaho man who got a pardon from President Trump this week. We will also visit one of the busiest food banks in the region. It happens to be on the campus of Boise State. It is Thursday, the 13th of November, and here we go with today's stories. Boise police are continuing a heartbreaking investigation into a crash involving a truck and a pedestrian, a young girl, in Boise's North End late Tuesday. The scene was the intersection of Harrison Boulevard and Ada Street. The truck struck the young girl in the intersection. She was rushed to a nearby hospital. She died a short time later. The Boise School District sent out a statement yesterday saying the girl was a student at Washington Elementary School. Counselors are being made available to students, staff, and families. Boise Councilman Jimmy Halliburton says it's important not to call an incident like this an accident. He said it's often too easy to dismiss or forget an accident. Instead, he says we should consider it a crash and then investigate the facts and do everything to try to prevent the crash from happening again.
You know, what I feel right now is that everybody is hurting, and I've had all sorts of different people from the community reaching out from that neighborhood, people who, you know, were there when it happened, people whose kids walk that area normally, you know, people who have concerns about their own kids and their own families and their own safety, and people are heartbroken. And I always want to make sure that I make space for those feelings first, and that those feelings are followed up by a commitment to figure out what it is that we can do.
Halliburton is a member of the City of Boise Vision Zero, or Traffic Fatality Task Force, which will be meeting again in just a couple of weeks.
And during those meetings, it's myself, it's ACHD commissioners, it's folks from planning at the city, planning at ACHD, it's police officers, it's fire. And we look through every single incident with a fine-tooth comb. We read the police reports. We look at the site. We look at everything that could be potentially looked at as a cause, and we try to evaluate what are the things that could have prevented this from happening. And that might be infrastructure, it might be policy, it might be education, it might be behavior, it might be a combination of all those things.
The Boise Police Crash Reconstruction Team and Violent Crime Unit detectives are investigating the crash. And now an unexpected twist to the story. The driver of the truck involved in the crash did remain on the scene and cooperated with the investigation, according to Boise Police, but a check of the National Crime and Information Center revealed that the driver had an outstanding federal warrant involving Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Boise Police contacted U.S. Immigration, who took the driver into custody. On Wednesday, Idaho began issuing partial SNAP food assistance benefits after they were paused during the ongoing government shutdown, but demand at local food pantries continues. Jackson Holmes and Jamie Geary visited Boise State's campus food pantry.
Alfredo Ibarra is one of 30 people standing in line waiting for the campus food pantry to open at 11 a.m. The BSU junior waits with his mother and infant brother. He's the oldest of 5 siblings and says with SNAP gone, the pantry is helping his family keep access to food.
Going from $50 expenditures a month to $100, $125 at the loss of SNAP was pretty devastating, and the food pantries really opened doors for us in terms of just being able to eat healthily as well as just eat, period.
The pantry served about 1,500 students the first week of November when SNAP benefits were cut. Food pantry manager Emily Hester says student use has risen steadily.
We're already seeing huge amounts of visits of students coming and using the pantry. And, you know, the need and the demand has always been there.
Students enrolled in at least one credit can visit as many times as they like per day and take any food supplies and hygiene products they need. All the pantry requires is a valid student ID. Everything is sourced from local food banks, grocery stores, and farms. Boise State says the Idaho Food Bank is increasing its contributions to meet rising demand. Jamie Geary, Boise State Public Radio News.
And we should note that Jackson Holmes contributed to this story. An Idaho man says he still can't believe that he received a pardon from President Trump. Earlier this week, we told you how Michelino Sunseri of Driggs, Idaho, he's an extreme runner, was charged by the National Park Service when he used a shortcut on federal land in an extreme run up and down the summit of Grand Teton.
It's labeled as a federal Class B misdemeanor, which has the weight of up to 6 months in prison.
But this week, Sunseri received an email with a pretty important document attached.
And I open up my email, and in front of me is the signed pardon from Donald J. Trump. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, really? Like, are you serious right now, man? Like, what? How? Like, what is happening? And, yeah.
And when we reached Sunseri yesterday, he said his phone has been ringing, well, you can guess.
It's an absolutely insane and surprising twist to a otherwise completely insane story to begin with.
Sunseri is an extreme athlete. He says for now it's back to the gym as he prepares for his next season of competition.
My season will begin over in Italy. I'm racing the Chianti by UTMB. I'm going for the 50K trail race. And then my season will extend from March all the way until November.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. We'll see you back here on Friday. You can stay in touch with the news all the time on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. Tell your friends and family about The Connector and how they can find it wherever they find their favorite podcasts. For now, to you, thanks for listening.
Sources and methods, the crown jewels of the intelligence community. Shorthand for how do we know what's real? Who told us? If you have those answers, you're on the inside, and NPR wants to bring you there. From the Pentagon to the State Department to spy agencies, listen to understand what's really happening and what it means for you. Sources and Methods, the new national security podcast from NPR.